can settle this. Is it going to be a quick affair? It's going to be a drawn-out romance. We'll have to find out here. Soniqs with the first ban. What are we not playing on Clubhouse? What is not available to us? And finally, we get something interesting when it comes to the bans. Everything so far this tournament for a lot of our games has been really, really straightforward. I mean, getting a couple little sprinkles, some smoke bans here or there, maybe some other things, a blitz ban rolling in, but nothing like this. Oh my, North America. Jeez. Let's play some Clubhouse. Thermite and Maverick off the board for the offensive side. Expect your EMPs, expect your fellow hard breachers to mean quite a bit. Habana is worth... You said gold, we're moving to platinum, we're moving to any expensive material because you're going to need her.
Cade is the first one to get banned out as we're going to try and prevent some of that Electric Claw work from coming in. You kind of have to do that there, otherwise you set yourself up for failure on a few of these executes. Keep in mind, of course, you have the Thatcher to just directly counter them out as well, but this makes so that is not going to be a requirement, at least for the basement attack. Last ban coming in here. Wow, we are just all of the wall utility. That's the entire focus of this ban. Is pretty much entirely for those hatchways.
Look at Goddess's face!
As well as the main balconies on the second floor here. That is the entire focus of these bans. Never have I seen an entire ban set go to one specific point or a few specific points on the map. Usually just one or two at most. But this time, the entire breadth of it is going to be fully focused on that.
I love how both of these teams had the choice to double down, and they both
Well, the other thing, too, is look at the defender lineup now, right? We have Azami, we have Solus, and we have Valkyrie unlocked for plays. There's just like, I would not be surprised at all if we just see, like, all these teams go roam crazy, like double down on, like you said, the SSG roam, things like that we're going to play out from the basement. That's got to be the way you play this now because you have so many of these powerful operators unlocked.
This right here might be one of the most unique clubhouses that we'll have for some time. Not a lot of teams really like playing into this. This is something that is, you know, pretty scrim heavy. You'll do like some really weird op bans and that kind of stuff to try and build up to a moment like this. And that's why I was so excited for this Veil to get pulled off. Both of these teams, once again, doubling down in their regards, double down in the walls, double down in also the denial of said walls. So, gonna be fun here. Gonna get into the round. Let's see if this roam game comes to fruition from the Soniqs.
Well, to get things started, Rexon already spotting out one player confirmed. He saw the phone there just a second ago as the barricade is also gonna get popped open here. NJR with the rappel up to the roof, but will not be continuing to maintain this position to challenge it any further. Move away from it instead. Regroup with the rest of the team a little bit further down below. Relatively controlled roam so far from the Soniqs in round number one. Not trying to throw themselves at the enemy, of course, but certainly still trying to maintain positioning, but not going to be doubling or tripling down on those in any extent. Falling back at the usual point in the round we would expect them to so far.
Well, Mute's going to be on the top floor. He'll begin descending the stairwell here. Get himself out just in time. Oh, so low HP. Pambazoo bearing down on their location. Able to light up one. The blood spurts on the back wall signify that. He chases him down. Tags up Citizen. Is he going to swing for this? We know Citizen quite raunchy when it comes to the gunfights. Absolutely loves to get down and dirty with these. Ends up taking the swing. He'll tag him. Little due diligence there, matching his own HP bar. Great work here from DarkZero. The drone game really backing off the Soniqs now on a lot of these external annexes.
The supply hatch open gives our attackers access to the lower blue room here. That's one option open now for DarkZero to begin taking that basement control away from the Soniqs. Soniqs, of course, have tried to challenge this quite a bit, but so far not really been met with success. Geo brought down to a sliver of HP. Citizen and Grixer also injured throughout the process of this one. Geo going to try to set himself up for another pre-placed Nitro down below. We'll see if the timing aligns for the cross as they try to move their way forward, but it's going to be NJR claiming the first kill of the round now, grabbing Rexon. As we see him challenge once again here from the bottom of blue, nearly loses his life in a trade during the process of that one. Forced back further in oil pit. Surprise angle is how he's able to find the first kill to begin with here. But beyond that, unfortunately, is not able to push it any further as he has no support from the main blue route, and it's way too easy of an angle for the Soniqs roster to counter out.
He's still all the way in the back of oil pit. I know he's gone now, but He's going to give up the goods. Frag grenade in. They'll definitely be aware at this moment. Some big kills here from the Soniqs. Be able to equalize it now before Pambazoo pulls him back across the line. Grixer trying to deal with the position inside of blue. Big damage. Nice angle from Canadian on the hatch. Will get it done. DarkZero pick up the first round.
Oh, I got his feet just like that too.
DarkZero take that control and will be able to put their feet on the ground first here on Clubhouse. A 1-0 lead established from them. Now we see if they can push it further. No retries for the Soniqs. They are not happy with the way that they played things out there in the basement, so it's upstairs for them into the gym and bedroom. Hopefully, these defensive operator bands that did not go through give them a little bit more firepower, as the extension just did not have the weight they were hoping it would to swing at the attackers in that last round.
Yeah, this is where things get really murky with our defensive bands. You really don't have anything to hold up some important walls like Jacuzzi or the single panel for construction, potentially extending themselves out over towards CCTV, you know, as well. So you're really going to be leaning on the mute jammers to potentially do that. But the big issue is not only Dokkaebi very prominent nowadays, and she has EMPs, but you also have Thatcher at your disposal on the offensive side as well. They were looking at Dokkaebi. Canadian's going to switch that over to another hard breach op, so they'll bring that to partner up with NJR. Potential for that in Skies as well. Frag grenades in for Gav. The Ace going to get switched out for Pam, but big lineup change here. We're going to throw some ops around, so we'll just give them a second, and those will get locked in officially. So they're going to go with a lot of hard breach. That's really what we want to look at. Skies will bring the secondary hard breach here. So 3 hard breach ops, on the other ones to swing about. Got Gav on the soft breach there for the sledge for the castle barricades that could be brought, but actually not going to be seeing any of those. So won't have to worry about that all too much. Mostly just for the soft destruction as well as the frag grenades, able to pair those up with Pambazoo quite nicely. So DZ having all of the means of production for round 2.
With round 2 alive and well, we're going to see the rest of DZ begin to position themselves on those window positions. A slow wind for that, as they do want to open things up over here towards Logi first. A little bit slower rolling in that respect, but attempt to possibly come in here to also grab some openings over towards the construction angle, as they do not want to allow the Soniqs to maintain that set piece for their hold here. The nade goes in. It's not got the barricade, but is not going to be taking down that Frostbite sitting on the other side, just as you get a little bit more utility committed to that to get that job done here. The hatch opening as well as the garage being popped, though, does force some of the presence away from construction, as well as Logi here. Once again, forcing Soniqs to hold things just a bit closer to the chest. We have that extension deployed over on the inside of Cash. That looks like it is now going to be challenged here over the next 10 to 15 seconds or so. Only one player at the moment defending it, but Rexon does have a second one deeper in construction if the need should arise.
DarkZero, get Jacuzzi wall open and begin working their way towards the construction side. Not much to say about that for Soniqs' camp, as they don't have the means to try and stop that given the ban. So have to give up the wall, trying to respect the opening, potentially slow up DarkZero on the actual execute. Frag grenade goes in, barely tags up Citizen. DarkZero, solid position around now, and now we're starting to see why that sledge building its way in. Yes, no castle barricades, but also the Azami, very, very annoying when it comes to her Kiba barriers. So always nice to be able to knock your angles back open. Don't have to punch those things 3 times. Sky's going to swing in. He gets gunned down by Geo. The ADS will eat up the thing that was so very needed in that moment. Nice Pambazoo with a nice little prone there will work it out. Had to do something. Didn't see him. Knew that shotgun was coming through, but it didn't know about Citizen. Very well done with the Russian SMG. Takes out Pamba. 4 versus 3. DarkZero, they have to try and pick up the pieces. They'll get Gunner. NJR off on an island. He's going to stun about, try and rotate back through. Pre-fire from Rexon. Almost wins it out. NJR, so much damage dealt to him. Another stun right at his feet. Rexon, how is he doing this? How does he manage it? Oh my! Once again, he did it on border. He gets it done in cash. It's blood money, baby.
Canadian left alone here now. 1v3 beset against him. Virtually no time. This round, realistically, it is done at this point here. Soniqs going to be finally picking up, oh, maybe one for themselves, but yeah, Canadian just no real time to make this work, unfortunately. And more importantly, no for the Soniqs, baiting into his angle. Rexon, the big hero on the field yet again, stops the DarkZero roster from running away with a 2-0 lead. And now puts his team up on the board 1-1.
Yeah, that was a pure definition of in it right there from Rexon, as stuns abound, completely blinded, still works his way out. John, he probably got behind green box completely blind. That was just spatial awareness from him. As that stun through that drone hole, practically worked its way into his back pocket. He was sitting on it when it popped. Incredible from Rex in there. Soniqs able to get their first round off of the back of his heroics. They're going to send it right back down into the basement to try and right their wrongs.
And as they work their way into the basement, we're not going to see a huge number of changes coming in from them. The mirror is going to be added specifically for Gunnar here. See if once again that is going to boost their own capability to fight out once DarkZero manages to reach said part of the map. Quite a few repicks coming in from DZ as well here. I don't think that they expected to go to this site for this round, but that's all right. Just that's the reason why we have Attacker repick now, so you can make those adjustments on the fly. So they'll certainly do so, as they may have been expecting the full rotation over towards Cash first before Soniqs made the return down to here, but never mind. It is once more just going to be a bit more of a bunker-centric hold from the looks of things for the Soniqs as they swap the Solus out for the Mira.
Both of them a fantastic consideration when it comes down to it. Looks like they'll be using the Mira downstairs, one that can be quite finicky, but can also be the round ender if played out correctly from this position. Doesn't look like there's any ADSs of any kind around that space, so Gunnar might be in trouble from that angle, but past that, being able to influence the bottom of main stairs is of the utmost importance to the basement players who are playing this site. It's the most generic cross in the business when it comes down to it, John. It's a long hallway, you hold a door, not really too much going on. Splits the site in half, and that's really what you want to try and attempt to get done in Siege. So that when those crosses come through from the defense, they end up dying to your gun. See if DarkZero can muster that. It'll be the top floor assault first. This assault slowly boiling over. Drone now in to try and discover Citizen's position.
A bomb has been located.
Continue to be a slow rolling round here for both of these teams as once more DarkZero sits at the precipice of the basement descent. Citizen immediately ready to deny any more direct pushes to work its way over here towards the main stairs. He'll swing himself back instead though once the drone spots him out. Not going to be too smart. Stick around there after you have been counter-drone, especially now with these angles being set up by Canadian and the rest of DZ. Even if he tried to stick around, the second he finally did decide to go back downstairs, he'd be a dead man in the hands of these top-down angles. So good thing he got himself out of there when the opportunity was still in play. A little over a minute left. DarkZero, like I said, have reached that execution point, but they have not been able to actually push themselves forward just yet. Still looking for the options to do that. We still have the hatchwork to be worried about as well here, but that should more than likely be the next focus point for them. So we have both Hibana and the Ace to accomplish that. Don't imagine there's going to be too much of an issue getting either of those open with the counters to those hatches being quite heavily banned out here. Once again, though, no real action in terms of either team trying to take a gunfight here. Soniqs just getting ready for the inevitable as they wait for those final hatch plays to be opened up and for DarkZero to pull the trigger on their execute.
Well, we await it as well. Stun prep for Skies. And in we go. Into Moto. Rest of the squad has to help with this. Big kills from the Soniqs. Have beads on every entry point. DarkZero, no recoil, nothing to come through. Finally, Pamazoo, but he's already dead. He's got to work his way solo dolo all the way into sight. Gets gunned down by Citizen just waiting behind the panel. What's behind door number one? Boom, it's a man with a gun. Takes him down. Flawless round there for Soniqs.
Soniqs a much more definitive stance being put forward here now. It's going to create some big problems for DZ if they don't flip it back quickly. Now it's a cash hold coming up on this next one from Soniqs as they'll fully test themselves for their third and final site play. Not favoring the bar stage at all here. So we will not see that come into their rotation, at least not initially, as they finally complete the set with this round. It's up to DZ, of course, change things up now. Work their way passes, which, again, theoretically should be able to do, given what we have banned out.
Yeah, those kind of rounds for DarkZero always just feel so bad because they have so much build up for it, right? It's like your friend like hyping themselves up the entire time that they're incredibly good at something, and then you find out that they're actually just terrible. They got everything right, and then they just botched the execution. It's like made it all the way through their golf swing and then just fell right off the side of Topgolf. Super unfortunate. So I'll have to see if DarkZero can try and fix it up when it comes to the execute. I definitely think they had everything at their disposal to try and get some pressure on the basement towards the Soniqs. The biggest issue is that they really didn't know the exact positioning. The Soniqs made it to where there was a lot of guesswork for DarkZero entering the actual site, especially with the positioning of the Kiba barriers, making life quite difficult. So, see if DZ is no longer the shoddy golfer and can find their Tiger Woods.
But as we get ourselves into the depths of round number 4 here, we'll continue to see how we'll try to make this Monty pickup work for themselves. Soniqs just patiently waiting this one down as once more DZ sets up their opening breaches and begins to establish that those first few bits of map control. Rexon, of course, will get the first spot of this Monte. Not really much she can do about it here. Doesn't really have shield or anything to play out towards it. We're going to see both corners opened up here. Quite a few X-Kairos committed to generating a bit of a workable construction angle for the attackers to play out too. And similarly to what we had talked about at the beginning of the round, a free opening of the main balcony. Nothing that the defenders can really do to get into the way of that one, although that one on the left opens in a bit of a weird way right there. Still going to be seeing it left as a partial banner. I believe that was a creation by DarkZero here. As Canadian, once again, will be back on drones, or at least we'll try to get back on drones. Kind of a expected encounter there when he chucked that one back out. As we had Rexon still sitting behind the zombie barricade, ready to pop that thing away the moment it was thrown onto the ground. And he'll do the same for any following drones too here. Already half of the drone count gone, so may want to reconsider just thrusting them at Rexon endlessly if they don't have another player to peek into the garage window itself.
Well, there's one thing that we've learned about this game so far. It's that you don't test Rexon's metal. He's going to reside inside a catwalk. He's looked fantastic throughout this game. Frostmat down to his immediate right. Canadian's going to see this, and funnily enough, this is going to be the biggest obstacle for Monty. A little flat mat is going to be the biggest problem here. Stuns pour in, and oh, Canadian! He just drops the shield and lets it sing, shoots the man right in the face. Oh my! DarkZero, Canadian, the ball's on this man. Just takes full control of Catwalk. DarkZero, they found their gall. They're in it. Geo, the last man standing. Is it back-to-back flawless rounds? Give it to me. Come on, DarkZero, give him hell. Let's have an NA derby. The shield's found him, Geo. He spins back and forth. Have a day, DarkZero. North American fans, stand up. Let's have a time.
Making a statement here for DZ as they plant their feet on the ground, and nice and quickly here in round number 4. And more importantly, gonna make the Soniqs think twice about going back to that site later on here. Those bands may have taken it out of their rotation entirely, but do they have a third site to fall back on now? That's the bigger question, and we'll probably get an answer to that once they lock away this one. See if they want to actually make that return to the basement, or if they'll potentially try out the other site that they have yet to play into over towards Bar. Here we go though for Jim, and they have had some success in locking things away already.
Man, oh man, what a round. The DarkZero is going to be stunted with that garage position from Rexon, especially with the frost mat there. But they make it work simply by throwing stuns at him. No ADSs, no Wamai discs, nothing in that area to prevent any throwables from influencing the position. That influence was definitely heard. This Canadian was able to take him out with Monty. Shield down, shoots him up with the pistol. Very well done from DarkZero. It's going to be a big extension here from the Soniqs on the top floor, though, as we're just getting into round 5. The frost mats will still reside, and it will still be Rexon. Looks like he's going to go for a little spawn peek over the top of the van outside. Nothing doing for that. Excited to see what they can do as they push themselves out over towards this eastern side. Some more frost mats and other things abound. They have reinforced the CCTV wall here, so more than likely going to be DarkZero at least starting off on this end.
Let's get a wind up to a whole lot of nothing here inside of the first 30 seconds. As DarkZero just use this as extra drone time more than anything to set themselves up. Claymore down on the ground. That'll stop the blue window hop out. If anyone from the Soniqs was thinking about it. Not really in the cards for them, though. So There's a low potential of striking true, but it's more of an insurance policy than anything else. You put it there even if it doesn't really make sense to have it in this specific moment. The intel that the team has. Can openers, interestingly enough, being used to pop open garage. So being a little bit awkward just because of the timing you have to deploy those towards, but hey, DarkZero make it work for themselves, just as they're going to be able to pop open Jacuzzi without too much of a problem here either. Impacts come through, make it a bit awkward though, and in fact, I don't even think you can pop through that with the way it's shaped at the moment. That's going to be a big problem, as all 3 of the Selmas got used. In addition to that, all 18 of the X-Kairos are also gone.
Wow.
So this could be a problem for DZ.
Drone active.
Yeah, it's gonna provide a couple of issues. Number one, the influence on the bathroom position might be kind of a problem, but Citizen is dead now, so I mean less positions to play overall, so that's already helping DarkZero's case. Better's gonna move in underneath. Don't think that they know that he's here, so. But do they know that he knows where they are? Hop out. Big kills from Pamba. Nice read from DarkZero. Apparently they did know what was going on over inside of the billiards area. Some big kills now on the Sonic scent reeling, and they have to try and figure this out in a 3 versus 5. Almost a 2 versus 5 as that frag grenade attempts to find the feet of a Sonics member.
Grexer with the shot going in, Pan, but to trade things back out into his own favor, and DZ, with just way too much control of the situation, unfortunately there, is able to make things work for themselves very quickly, turning around, back onto its heels, stealing that control for themselves. The breach issue apparently not tripping them up all that much, as they still take the lead along with this round here. Now forge ahead, 3-2 over the Sonics. 1 round to go still in this half as well, and it's another basement hold from our defenders.
And I don't know if the Sonics will ever hear it down. If they choose DarkZero, then lose to them. It's out of this best of 3. 3-2 right now. DarkZero looking to take their offensive side, John. It's looked very good so far, but you could say that a bunch of different ways for both of these teams. You know, Sonics making a good case that this game could still go to overtime, especially with some of the bigger plays we've been seeing out of these players and some of the low-time executes from DarkZero that haven't exactly been going their way. But when DarkZero's on the ball, it really looks like they are world beaters. Constantly at the necks of Sonic, some big kills coming inside of the mid-round and really making it to where that last minute is fully in their control. So we'll see if DarkZero can potentially get things going early on once again here. This basement site has been the one that's been giving them a decent amount of trouble.
Certainly has been that case. So Ying has been brought in now to potentially make things a little bit easier for not only DZ but Skies as well. On top of the usual hard breach and the IQ being picked up for Gavini as well. The Valkyrie cameras will be in play, so a bit to spot in that regard now. To try and play things out specifically with the IQ. Aside from that, though, not going to be a whole lot of gadgets that can be spotted out. More than likely giving advanced intel of things more than anything else, such as the magnet discs from Rexon that are going to be thrown down, as well as those mute jammers from Geo, should the opportunity arise for those to be called out.
Away from that, Rexon begins inside of Secret. Back off after being discovered from a DarkZero drone. Still trying to figure out exactly what's going on this mid floor. They'll begin sussing out some other positions that they're worried about. But as we know, the majority of the Sonics reside downstairs, where these cameras and everything else in between, the IQ making things so very easy. I believe it's on the far side, so a little bit difficult there for Gavini to get bullets not going through that middle cage around the light bulb, unfortunately enough for his case. So DarkZero still in the early beginnings of this round. They've been able to at least clear out the top 2 floors, soft destruction, as well as the hard breach. Now is what we'll see played into.
All the Nitro's out. And we will not see a whole lot of action following it up, as that will go through.
Oh.
Hold on, though.
Citizen.
It's the Valcam from up on top that just got shot there. So not seeing the Nitro go out just yet. Citizen, of course, has lost his intel gain here now, is the big problem for him, of course. He doesn't necessarily know when to trigger. Can only play it off an audio cue, which is going to be suboptimal to say the least. The sledge play coming through. Actually opening up that area of the floor. At the same time, the X-Kairos attempting to be worked. Should be able to pop open the remainder of the hatch with these 2 to going down here. There we go, the job will be done. Nitro's actually chucked out the second time from Citizen, and this one's a winner. Knocks out Panda, gives Soniqs the opening kill that will go unresponded to for the time being.
Extremely well done. DarkZero once again, low time. Real no
Attackers dropped the diffuser.
info on where the positioning from the Soniqs are at the moment. Little guesswork going into this. Frag grenades out, and they're all going to land on deaf ears. The Soniqs once again looking to take this round. Candela's in. They have to execute off of this. Skies and the rest have to go. They'll throw themselves in. Gavini with the big kill. Have they been able to find the space? Canadian, he sits at the back, but he's been gunned down by Grixer, who's prone at AK. They have everyone at the back of this able to assist. Grixer, so many angles to work. It's all left up to Gav. He has to get 3. It's 3-3 after the half for the Soniqs. Such amazing positioning yet again. DarkZero all over, able to get down to the execution point, but they don't know where the Soniqs members are to actually do anything about it. They have to just try and run through the woods and hope that they don't get eaten by a big bear. The Soniqs once again able to be that big bear. 3-3 here. We're going to switch sides. DarkZero going to CCTV for the first.
And now DarkZero will have to deal with all of the issues from the bans that we had talked about previously, where the defenders realistically just not going to be able to block out access to any of these walls here and keep it that way throughout the round. Attackers have way too much utility access. Immediately, though, they're going to challenge arguably the worst sight that we saw from the Soniqs back in the previous halves. They are not too worried about those potential disadvantages as they go directly for this site here, which will be ripped wide open by the Soniqs, more likely in the first minute or two of play. It's just all about how they establish the winning actual execute angles that will really decide whether they take this round or DarkZero is able to successfully hold on to it upstairs in CCTV and cash. In terms of the lineup, it's pretty much what we'd expect to see. A lot of free roaming operators for DZ specifically here. We've got 2 utility mitigation ops that are going to throw down most of their utility now, and of course Wamai throughout the course of the round. The Solus, which will just be constantly on roam gathering intel. And then on top of that, we have Skies, too, playing things with the zombie barricades. That'll be a constant annoyance to Soniqs as they try to open up any territory at all on this site.
Yeah, you know, you feel like Jaeger Wamai almost a necessity when it comes to this site. Didn't see that favored in the Soniqs case. This time we'll see some ADSs placed inside of Garage, so hopefully the stun play that we saw from DZ won't work out against them. 4 nades built up for the Soniqs, excuse me, as well there for the Sledge as well as the Yana. Double hard breach working its way in. Gunner will be onto the Flores. Haven't seen too much Flores between these two, but doesn't mean it's a bad op. Those Rotero drones, so very useful at the end of the day. Able to dislodge a lot of hard stuck positioning as well as a lot of those Kiba barriers. So as soon as the zombie came into competitive queue, made it to where he got played even more because of all of those Kiba barriers. So Skies gonna be the player here for DarkZero inside of the Garage. He's got Pambazoo in tow on the far side. Impact out. I think he got rid of the Claymore that was potentially there. I think that was Geo's Claymore that had been placed outside, so very well done from Skies. Won't deal any damage to the Soniqs members, though.
Geo just trying to pepper out the soft paneling there. Citizen to strike back, though. He claims the actual first kill here on the inside of the Garage balcony. Panda tries to lean back into Citizen's angle, pays the price for it. As an opener is given to our attackers instead. Canadian trying to battle back against that from the inside of construction window, but again, Citizen reading into that play. The hop from Citizen as he just full commits. Very little support behind that potential push, but he goes for it anyway. Skies now gonna have some heat coming his way here as he tries to hold on to the top of that Garage catwalk. He too battled out successfully by Rexon this time to give the SQ roster the 1-player advantage back.
Canadian gunned down as well. NJR with only a single smoke, and DarkZero, they've miscalculated their first defense. They don't have the means to stop this. NJR, though, he's recognized they have to get aggressive. They have to make a play. Takes out the plat player. Rexon now all alone. He doesn't know if he's getting aggressive or what have you. NJR, so much heat from both angles. They know where he is now. Practically impossible to make it out of that. Rexon kills him. Gavini, the lone soul, the new member for DarkZero, fresh blood, about to be spilt. Stuns in, and Gavini will be stun locked through the drone hole as they're constantly, oh my, Soniqs bullying this man. Look at all of the stun grenades, John, that they just used on that guy. I think it was 6 stuns into the top of red there.
That'll explain at least part of the reason why we saw the Soniqs keep that site at the very end of their rotation for that first half. So And moving into the next one, we'll see an immediate change up on that as they go back downstairs instead here. But with their opponents now in front of the charge, if things go wrong here, what's the backup plan? They are very quickly running out of options, and the Soniqs will be feeling certainly very good about their capabilities to continue moving forward here in the upper bracket.
Back into the basement we go, but it's going to be the first time for DarkZero. They'll have the Warden in to try and thwart some of the smoke plays that could be potentially boiling over from a Capital, but Citizen going to throw that one to the wayside. He was flashing for a second onto the Habana, and now we'll let them lock up their offensive lineup. As for the defense, some potential roam game pouring over as we do have NJR on the Oryx, and that's usually a telltale sign of what the future holds. Doesn't necessarily mean that he has to go for it, but usually end up seeing him on one of these mid floors when that is the case. DarkZero past that, though, having everything else at their disposal to try and build up a successful defense. You have the Azami, you have the Valkyrie cams, as well as Wamai, looking like a very, very solid set for them. As for the Soniqs, they're going to work in Nook. Didn't get to see that on DarkZero's side too much when they played offense, so see if Rexon can get past some cameras here.
Panda just spamming out a little bit here, then get a drone on him. So quickly get rid of that. Allowing for DZ to play this one out a little bit more. For the Soniqs, though, we are seeing a bit of a slow windup from them as they generally need to figure out what the heck DarkZero is deploying towards at the moment here, which is going to be that extended roam upstairs. So a little bit more of a complicated formula to figure out. It's actually a short-lived one, though. As you can see, 3 of those players backing up from their blue hold now. So it doesn't return itself to be a normal bunker-style play from DZ when everything is said and done with regards to that first minute being wasted away. Soniqs are well on their way to the clear of the top floor anyway, just kind of checking off all the boxes just to make sure nothing is missed. And then they can focus things up. They'll pretty much have half of the round here to actually execute into the basement, but oftentimes even that may not be enough here. So we'll have to wait and see just how well things can go for them.
Well, top clear's worked out for the Soniqs. DarkZero haven't had to fall back or anything of the sort, obviously, as they've been playing this close to the chest the entire time. Soniqs, aware that some rotations can come through, although DarkZero's not going to give them to them. So everybody is downstairs waiting for the Soniqs to get here. They're late to the party. It's 6 p.m. It's 6:15 now. That's a big issue here. But you never want to be first there, right, John? That's the key thing. Never want to be first to the party. Then you have to have that awkward conversation. Hi, how are you? How's the kids? Great. Man, I'm just trying to stand off in the corner and like listen to some music or something, right? As for the Soniqs, they're going to be able to get some of the hard breach done as well as the soft breaching going on. Some drone work here. Skies will discover a drone on top of AC. They're going to have to quickly move. One of the Soniqs members also inside the actual oil pit. So Rexon's going to begin moving forward. And this honestly can work quite well. He's got plenty left in the knock health sensor here. Moves forward, gets one. Can he get the second? Waiting for the peek over top of the shield, but can't get it done. Solid Snake works out inside of this regard.
The drop from Grixer is in. Fortunately, no support to that, though, so he's got to be a little cautious about how he tries to move this forward. We positioned just on the inside of Moto right now. The nade will roll out here to try and deal with the barricade. Should knock it down, but I believe they may have another one waiting in the pocket. They're not going to need it anyway. Give any with the aggressive swing. The whole team busted out here to try and shut down the execute, and it'll work pretty much perfectly. One trade is found from Chio, but otherwise, it is very good from DZ. As they lock it down here in the basement.
You in full agreement with Canadian there?
I'd say so.
Okay.
We can't say the words they're saying.
Yeah, we can actually see. That's how I killed the guy on DG. Okay. We had that Rambo. It's all good. Okay.
See, I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's actually the funniest thing about this for these two. The least defensible site in Clubhouse, statistically speaking right now, is actually the basement at 54%. But they are quickly changing that just inside of this game. So a little weird how that works out.
Explains why teams haven't been going to it initially, just because they're like probably trying to play around those stats or play around their own strategies a bit more on the offsites. And maybe basement's a bit too played out at this point. So
it is the most played though. 76 plays on that out of 162 rounds. 43 on Master and Gym at a 56%. 27 plays for Bar Stage at 63, and then 75% for Cash CCTV at 16 plays, which used to be the starting position for every team when they came to this map. It was up in CCTV or down in the basement, and a lot of things have changed since then.
Important to note that I'm pretty sure this is by a pretty large margin the oldest map in the pool now as well, in terms of like the map that's been in the rotation the longest with with having no changes made to it.
You're correct.
Right?
Yes, you are correct.
Off the top of my head, at least.
Let me think here.
Because it would have been Border, but then Border had like a minor rework.
The
so
Cafe came out after Border was actually real recent in comparison. Clubhouse was literal ages ago. It was like year 3 or year 2, one of the two. Yeah. Funny enough, I still have a clip of me like shooting somebody through the soft wall of like when the roof used to be split up when construction no longer existed. Funny enough, guys, for you at home that recently played Siege, that room right there, construction, yeah, it used to not exist at all. It was outside. It was the worst thing ever. Hilarious thing. But they connected that, and that's why it's called construction, funny enough.
That's also why you see like the break in the roof.
Yeah.
On the roof right there.
Yeah, you see it? It's perfect.
Like,
it's literally perfect.
It's puzzle pieced it in there.
But it's worked out. It's made it to where Clubhouse not only is a fan favorite, but is a favorite of our teams to go to and play, and it has been a constant throughout Siege history. One of my favorite maps, Clubhouse in Oregon, whenever you talk about Siege, those are the two that come to mind. So, but now for the Soniqs, we're about halfway through this. They've been processing a lot of this, but fortunately enough, they've been building up to this point quite quickly, looking to get Jacuzzi and everything else going on and into the mix here. They also have to worry about the downward position as well, and that's up to Grixer. Canadian going to take the fight in through the bar connector, deal some damage to Grixer, but really just a call sign of, hey, if you come back down here again, I'm probably going to try and kill you.
Impact out from NJR does prevent the second opening of the Selma. Will also prevent hop-ins from coming through on the Sonic side as a result of that one. We're just reinforcing those walls by chucking down the 2 as zombie barricades directly on top of that. Another one still to be potentially presented to NJR at a later point in this round as well. We'll hold our breath about what he can potentially build up towards. Here is all for Gavani. That's just too easy. Shuts it down. The follow-up from his teammates is way too slow there, so he's allowed to go crazy on the Citizen. Takes him down. A little bit of a desync there from the Sonics. Cost them their opener as they try to move in for construction. Take it one step beyond that. Pay the price.
Bomb diffuser has been dropped. Attackers have
Big impact out onto Grixer's location. Damage dealt, Gavini down, plant started for Geo. There's no way they can get this done. Everybody pushing in, trying to assist, but the Sonics battle back. They get the case back under control. It's up to Canadian, but where's he at? No nitro cell. They'll stop the plant. Is there any cameras around to help them? You see Gunner and Citizen flickering back and forth in between them. He's got the counter angle. Doesn't go for the hop, goes for the shots though, gets the stop. Canadian, ice cold, just like the North. Rotates back downstairs. You can see the black eye cam work here from MJR and Skies as well. He'll run back. Has to try and get back up the stairwell. Rex, and he's going to have the time. It's going to be up to the gunfight here. He knows he's on the stairwell. Here it comes! Rexon can't win it. Canadian gets it done. The old head once again. He just can't die. Almost year 8, he's still solving these problems.
DarkZero keep themselves in the lead with that big pickup there. Nice rebound to be seen from our defenders here. Keeps them in front of the situation now with 2 rounds to go. He's popping off. Feeling good about that clutch right there. Masterfully done. One of our biggest legacy players in the game right now. Canadian still with us after all these years.
What else would you expect? Always had the clutch gene, never worried, ever patient from that position. So well done. What a read from him in the squad as well. Able to take down Yana. And this is no small feat, folks. DarkZero, I gotta tell you this. When we entered their game 2 days ago, John, they had a negative 20 round count. Not a single person thought that they were gonna do this and that they were capable to play against the Sonics, especially with Citizen in the list of players. List of names. Getting confused and back and forth on words. Anyways, point being, damn it, DarkZero's playing well, and it's exciting. The Sonics constantly going back and forth with DarkZero, but these two organizations, they have constantly been at each other's necks for a long time. It always seems like no matter what, if these two are on the docket, well, there's a hell of a game to be played. No difference here on Clubhouse. Let's get into round 10 and see if DarkZero can continue their reign.
As we enter the round, it's a chance for DarkZero to lock up their penultimate round here if they can get themselves up to 6. The Sonics, of course, bringing a bit of a different flair to this one. Much more of a presence established to flank watch. There's reason behind that, of course, as we are on bar stage. Back down on the first floor here. There's a lot more things to watch out for as they go to the execute, as DarkZero's defense has a lot more options to play out from that avenue as well. Some early cleanup here being done by the Soniqs roster, though, as they need to pop open a few barricades and whatnot. What better way to do that than use the Rotero drones, as it's a very safe way to send that piece of utility deeper into the map. And hopefully knock out a few key pieces of utility like zombie barricades, potentially an evil eye if you can get up that high, and maybe a caster barricade or two along the way also. Gunnar striking first here this time with the pre-fire going into cash. Another one of his teammates is able to force Panba out of position, and that props to his elimination when he goes across that spray right there.
Already building up to a 5-5 scoreline for the Soniqs. They are not wary about their position at the moment. Working their way in from the secret side, looking to try and work this potentially from the stock position. Canadian, the rest of DarkZero still has some stalwart spots around this top floor. Skies swings in towards Cons, but he'll mostly stay around Master. As for Gunnar, seeing if there's going to be any late rotations down low while the rest of his team continues to break up this site. It's going to be Grixer first as he'll open up the wall, the soft breach here onto stage. Rotero for that, NJR waiting in the wings for Bar. Once again, the rest of DarkZero upstairs, so really need to get a kill back here. Air jab down might be the big play they're looking for. Gavini with one, but he can't get back around. Rexon perfectly timed on the refrag.
Rexon having that pickup. Soniqs are in control yet again. Can they keep it? Canadian, of course, with the big clutch in the last round. He's still on the prowl for this one, too. Trying to get in the way of any potential execute from SQ by maintaining that upstairs presence. Less than a minute to go here now. The Soniqs inching on an opportunity to try and jump down, going for the stage execute, but no. NJR ready for a first exchange. He goes down immediately after 2 Geo. Skies now pops back out from the depths of billiards. He finds one, but gets a bit too curious, looking for a second. Gives away his life. And now puts Canadian in another clutch scenario for a 1v2.
Well, the plants are going down. Can Canadian stop it from above? They know that he wants to attempt to do this. You can see them constantly faking this back and forth. He'll drop in.
He's actually gonna go for
Not gonna use any bullets. Do they adjust for this? The plant's gonna go through. Looks like Gio's gonna swing for it. Shots in. Rotate back around. Gunner's gonna work his way back out to secret. They actually might play this from upstairs as well. I don't know if there's any verticality over this position. Drone here that Canadian can find, and once again, just displaying how Solus is so incredibly good here inside their clutch. They can't even turn on cameras to try and figure out a clutch situation because Solus is still alive.
Gio ready with the swing. At the same time, you need to be cautious that he doesn't commit to it too early. There's the click. He'll have heard that around the corner. Skies, of course, the first one is a bait. Lets his teammate distract it. Skies gets the trade, though, even though Canadian goes down. Now it's the 1v1, and unfortunately, they're not ready for that full wrap that Gio went for towards the tail end of it there. He'll shut it down instead. The Soniqs claim the round. They take us to another tie here. So it's 5-5. The next team to win 2 takes it, or we will reset and go to OT if they trade out again.
A game of inches between these two, John. It feels like no matter what side you're on, just can't get 2 rounds in a row. Once again, back to a 5-5 score line. DarkZero able to at least get a chance there inside of the 2 versus 2, but the positioning from the Soniqs way too strong. And their initial take of the building was really what started that off. Nice little pre-fire from Gunnar takes down Pambazoo and sets the tone. DarkZero never really able to work out a man advantage from that point. They're able to equalize, and that also required the case going down. DarkZero not able to get too much done past that moment.
And so as things are evened again, take a look and see if the Soniqs are going to potentially try to change up their fate. They're going to bring the Ying out now for their own basement attack. Aside from that, though, no real earth-shattering changes on the repick. Citizen and Rexon just swapping between each other there. Gunnar is the only real change. So we will move ourselves now into the round. Let's take a peek here at how exactly the Soniqs look to steal basement yet again. DarkZero had a pretty definitive stance for the last one, and will look to bring that out one more time to get their 6th round onto the board here. SSG is out and about here too. Gavini deployed himself to the depths of Logi and construction area, so some potential issues still to pop up. He's even lined up for a pre-fire too, if they try to go for the roof clear on that panel right there.
Might be expecting a buck to be coming through here, but here's the thing. There's no buck at all in this lineup, so Skeleton Key won't make quick work of that wall. Back and forth Skies and Gunnar go. Trying to set the tone from what we saw inside of the last round, where Gunnar was able to do exactly that. Gavini will make the rotation out safely. Might as well dump the whole magazine as well. Make sure nobody tries to flood the angle whilst he drops. So DarkZero so far so good inside of their opening minute. A little damage dealt to both respective squads, but both of them still healthily enough to try and get through this. Have the secondary hard breach on Gunner. Those Selmas of the Ace as well for Geo in case things go wrong. And the redundancy once again with Citizen. So plenty going on here for the Soniqs to try and get these hashes open.
Soniqs taking some control of Kitchen, able to work their way through that now. Citizen on the outskirts being a little bit cautious of actually stepping that full foot forward to the inside here. So won't go all the way just yet. Only needs the hatch open at this earlier phase of the round. That's all he'll really set foot in to take at this point. Connor also had lost some health from an earlier dash forward, so could explain why there. As we take a look at him and see the lower HP that he has. Canadian and the others, though, patiently wait on the other end of that one. Soniqs not too convinced of themselves yet, but there we go, some more shots, this time ringing back on Canadian as Gunner gets a bit of revenge. However, Canadian still with the big utility set piece. There's yellow pings all over the place for it. It's way off the mark, though. Geo had very much repositioned from that spot already, so not going to be claiming anything.
Soft destruction now for DarkZero. Haven't been able to find too much, at least when it comes through for the Soniqs. They'll be breaking up all of that flooring, getting the wall done here for Church as well. DarkZero trying to play back through the soft destruction, trying to seal up some of these walls as well when it comes to these kunai. Rexon will begin breaking up the last little remaining angles here inside of Kitchen. Try and get some grenades in towards the church space as well. Sky is going to be in the exact same position we saw the Grixer the last time. Glasses on and some big kills to follow. The Soniqs have to get something going here. They'll take down Sky. Some nice pressure from them. It's up to NJR to try and keep this case from going down. It's on the other side of Armory, but he doesn't know where Grixer is. The cross being covered. He finds him. He just has to sit still. Don't move from behind the box. DarkZero have match point first on Clubhouse.
Another basement round goes into the hands of our defenders here as they indeed lock in that 6th round. No pauses have been taken by either team, so DZ has a moment to set themselves back if they want to. Things are very, very close. I don't think Goddess wants to get in the way of the momentum that still exists to an extent for the Soniqs. They want to full send this one into the final round and see if they can get the job done now to at least trigger overtime and save themselves from a lower bracket run.
It's going to be CCTV for our very next defense. This is the most defender-sided site that we have in the entirety of Clubhouse for the entire tournament. It's also the least played that we've had. Before this game, there was only 16 plays on this site throughout the entire tournament. Also, there was 14 plays on Clubhouse, almost matched up. 1 round on CCTV per game. This is going to be the 3rd, I do believe, that we've seen here amongst these two teams. It could be the round that settles it for DarkZero. We saw what happened the last time. Sky's getting bullied out of his position when it came to the catwalk. The Soniqs able to push things even farther past that moment. Able to stun lock Gavini, and I mean literally stun lock him at the top of red as they poured 6 stuns into his location. Simply executed him for the very last kill. Soniqs not needing the case, just needing the frags. We'll see if this one shares a similar flair.
So let's go in with the Soniqs, give us one more change up to their lineup to try and make this cash play work. They're going to be doubling down on the emphasis for the site take here. They'll bring not only the Capitao out for Rexon, but even behind that one as well. The Monty going to get picked up this time by Geo to force the issue inside of the depths of, well, really, he can go anywhere just because of how easy it is to access a few of these key points. But if he goes what we have traditionally seen the Monty execute towards, it will be a garage take, and he'll be leaning himself into. But we'll hold our breath on that one and see where exactly he is going to be moving in towards, because I believe he's also opening up that construction wall at the moment here just to use his 2 utility pieces there. And there we go. There's the can opener to pop that one open, so another player will have an attempt to swing their way in there later in the round.
Impacts out, but the exact same situation we saw the last time from Sky. As he tosses it, no damage. Might have gotten rid of a Claymore there. Gunner did have his set up, so don't know if that was set on the door, but we'll have to see. More than likely won't matter too much, as we seldom get runouts from that door nowadays. The Soniqs will try and reinsert themselves onto plat, this time just via the, oh, some nice shots, Canadian!
Goodness, Gunner was
let him snip away again! Captain Canadian with a big kill! DarkZero, they found it. Grixer, he'll be able to get the refrag though, onto Canadian, not ready for the hatch play. But how do they get past Garage now? No more Selma charges. Fortunately enough for them, though, John, they have the wall open.
This goes back to those bans before. Not really an arduous process to open up the main pain points when it comes to hard breaches. Need to be eliminated on this map anymore due to the way both these teams band out and around each other. A single X-Kairos going down there, trying to deal with that as zombie barricade. See Sky's a little bit preoccupied, so he's not necessarily going to be available to chuck down another one, and you may already be out of them at this phase of the game as well. Toxic Babes continuing to hold things down, though, as we enter the final minute marker. Smoke's going to completely obscure Sky's vision. He cannot see anything from that spot unless he pushes outright over towards his far barricade, directly next to the staircase here. As he moves up towards it, Geo should be able to get past it. A little bit of an awkward angle, but he steals the playbook out of his opponent's hands and does one better as well. Canadian can get one, but Geo can get two on it as he slaps them both down. Gavini, the only one that remains now in the 1v2, going to try and clutch this one out to still send DZ up to that pivotal 7th round and end the game here and now. 1v1 versus the Montaigne. He slaps the shield back down. Gavini with the good reads. He does see, of course, the deployment to the rappel to his left, but he also knows that Montaigne is scoped in, still with a shield to make this oh so difficult. There's the shot from Gavini to shut down the first.
No.
Where is the second? Oh, almost got it done with the sidearm, but Rexon wins it out instead. Overtime is activated for a second time in the series to see a true winner out of this map.
Okay. Gonna bring claymores.
Good shit, Rich.
You got to give it to Gavini on that, though. Ice in his veins there. Still able to manage all of that pressure. The entirety of this series resting on his shoulders. Still able to take down Geo. Just can't best Grixer. Rather, Rexon. On the Capital, rather. He's been amazing this entire series as well. Rexon, every map having a big moment. Once again, able to push them over into overtime. When they need him most, he shows up. 13-7 for him on this map alone as of right now. Expecting a massive rating once we get to the tail end of this. So, into the best of 3 rounds, John. Soniqs going to have the defensive side for these. DarkZero going to have the offensive side. We switch in between, so once we go to the next round, DZ onto the defensive end, Soniqs onto the offense, and then vice versa for our last round if it takes that much. Soniqs headed to the basement to try and pick up a defensive win. Church Arsenal, once again, the least defensively sound site that we have available to us on Clubhouse at the current moment.
Defuse a bomb.
Well, as we now enter the depths of the basement, we'll see if the Soniqs have learned their lesson from the previous half that was played out here. They're going to be in position this time to shut this one out from DZ, or if DZ can potentially steal what would be a real singer around and take out Soniqs' own basement defense, setting them up yet again for the ultimate victory point that evaded them just on the last round here. Got the Soniqs with, once again, a little bit of a different formula to try and make things work. They've been slowly adjusting this over the course of the regulation halves, and once again brought out a little bit more flair for potentially their final go on this site. As they're going to have the cap can as well as the Echo added into this one. It has come down to oftentimes to a late round execute with like 10 seconds or so left on the clock, so that Echo may come out in the clutch here.
Patience for the Soniqs inside of the first minute. Looks like we're gonna have some players over near main stairs, and JR working his way in via secret. DarkZero, back to what we'd seen prior. Citizen with a little bit of an aggressive front here. I think he put his nitro cell on the ceiling inside of kitchen. Potentially get rid of some players rolling around logistics. Move his way back down the stairwell. Might be a little difficult to try and get that one to go from down there. They don't have any cameras to try and assist with that unless Geo's got a yokai all the way up top. So we'll just have to see. Halfway through now, and DarkZero have got to get down to brass tacks. Start breaking up these hatches, start applying pressure around the base floor. Try and get these picks on the Soniqs.
It's the slow work to get open the kitchen hatch. Not going to be much that can get in the way of it, though. As the defenders, unfortunately, with only those impacts to play out, Rexon will pop one, but Skies has so much in excess, it's not really going to matter when everything is said and done. Anyway, even if both of those impacts are successfully used out, you're not really going to be able to get the second player with impacts in position to counter that one. Just turns into a little bit of an arduous process for the defense, as they're worried about something else over here. Blue is being heavily pressured by DarkZero's utility, specifically Rotero drone about to be swung down into it even as well. Rexon on the other side of that one. Staring at the brunt of all of this aggression, trying to fend off the actual push when it comes to Baron. Where is it from DZ? Once again, bringing us down to that final few seconds margin to be able to execute. They're going to be taking a risk in doing so, as no damage whatsoever has been done to the Soniqs roster. DarkZero is perfectly okay with that if they have the intel required to make this execute work. Citizen immediately catches the first drop as NJR is eliminated, and rest of the team to follow it forward now as they'll try to take church control. Gaveni with a good opener, but now they need to move forward and take the half bar as well. Gaveni scoring that kill as well. Beautifully done by him on the entry. Rexon did fend off some of the Arsenal pressure, and now Gaveni's got to go to work excessively so. As he'll trade a third kill here with the loss of Panba being considered. Geo finally puts him down. Sky is all that remains. He at least gets the plant and is able to battle out from that, bringing it down to a 1v1. Can he maintain? And indeed he can! A big clutch from Skies yet again to put DZ on map and match point.
We got that dream! Let's fucking... These rounds are super close, guys.
It's fine. Like, they remember if you're dead, you just call like they're not planning church.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, there's an echo camp for that.
Alright, so...
Alright, we're walking in a church, and right now that's like the one place that we lost on attack every single time. So like Gio was saying, like cash, Gio's making calls and people aren't hitting. People are sitting there, people are freezing, people are stopping. So if Gio's calling for something, please take the initiative to actually do it, because like I said, you guys are stalling, because you're taking too much time. Gio's a massive process, like 30 to 45 seconds.
Yeah.
I think we're fine here. Let's just fucking, we'll call the plant, we'll clear the map, and we'll literally just run out there.
I think we should still go here and...
It's fine. Remember what they do. It's 1 K9, 1 dirt, 2 blue,
One blue, one church.
Yeah,
Let's fucking get it, boys.
These rounds are super close. Trust each other.
Listen, I think we're gonna late round. I can what's it called? We can ace the wall. If they go there again, we'll ace the wall, and you're running our church.
Well, fantastic prediction there from the bench of Soniqs, as it will be a Church Arsenal defense. And for some of you trying to figure out some of the comms there, more than likely recognize Dirt, might not have recognized K9. That's AK or gun or whatever you want to call it, right outside of the door immediately to the left. If you're really quiet, if you go in a private game and you're really quiet in that corner, you'll hear dogs barking outside, and that's why they call it K9. Fun fact.
There you go.
There's some dog houses out there, so... Pretty cool stuff. But either way, that's past everything else. The Soniqs trying to get some things figured out for that setup and the positions known for DarkZero. We'll see if they try and favor what Soniqs has already mentioned inside of that TAC timeout. Also talking a bit about how they were stalling out on their executions, Geo calling for things, the call not really being respected, or no one really adhering to what was needed for the situation, and the wheels falling off the wagon due to that. Can't have a misstep this time now. Have to be absolutely perfect. Soniqs are going to bring in the OSA. Everything else making quite a bit of sense. That's going to be the freshest face to this entire operator list.
Soniqs out and about. Let's see how they try to clear things here. Save their upper bracket run. DarkZero patiently waiting for that execute to come through, and of course with a tactical pause just having been executed, they'll be extra cautious about the way they move themselves into this one as well, maintaining some initial stairway positions specifically over here towards blue, but not keeping themselves into it. All 5 players have fallen back. It's a full bunker setup from the Soniqs roster, so we'll have to see if the dirt diversion that they were talking about potentially going for here on the execute is going to be the winning play for them to work their way directly into the site. There's not much reason to delay aside from that. The Soniqs will realize that there is no upstairs presence in just a moment, and then will begin to relocate themselves into the basement, having the full 2-minute breadth of the remaining time to do so, of course.
Quiet across the map. A little bit of a misstep there between the 2 DarkZero members. One trying to throw a disc, the other one trying to throw a knife, and well, knife wins, doesn't it? End up breaking up that angle there for the bar moto hatch. Citizen getting rid of default cameras and going to start breaking up some of this flooring. Always slow rolling when it comes to Clubhouse here, folks, in these opening minutes, especially when there's no roam game, really. It's just DarkZero trying to make sure that Soniqs don't throw a random person at some odd avenue, and that's really it. They're waiting for them to get these hatches open, and obviously Soniqs have got to figure out what's going on in the map before they can do so, and there's a lot of little crooks and crannies around Clubhouse to check out. So this takes a little while. But now that we've crossed that bridge, potentially for the last time, DarkZero have this last minute to play with. So much utility at their disposal. That Nitro cell could sing for a Canadian.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
Have to wait for the perfect moment to use it, though. As DarkZero continue to be ever so patient down in the depths of the basement, not giving anything with regard to angles or player count over so far to this Soniqs roster, but that may begin to change now over the next 2 minutes. Clutch impact there, too, saves the mirror window and this current position from Giveni. He'll be able to still be a menace from this spot. Things just not looking all that great for our attackers right now. Where's the windup? Where's the big swing to get them into it? Okay, here we go. Now it's going to start to explode out onto the site. 3 kills in a row. NJR finally responding with a deep hold inside of Dirt, but Gio already with the counter for that. Beautifully played out here from the Soniqs. Took us a while to get the execute into the actual site. Once they found those blue entries, things quickly fell into their hands. Round 15 is triggered, and we will go to one final duel between these teams to decide the winner of the series.
What a magic moment from the Soniqs. Procs an immediate DarkZero timeout. Let's listen in.
Call the timeout? Yeah. Just give us another time. We're on time. I got the gun lower. We're chilling here, though. I mean, this map is literally ours.
Did we win bar? Did they go bar?
They haven't gone bar. They didn't go bar yet. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they'll go cash. I think they're most likely going to go. Most likely going to go gym. Yeah. They might just go basement too and cook up. I don't know. I think we have to react. I think if we go gym, we're fine. We gotta be careful with impact. We want open cup different. Maybe we have banana top. What's it called? Coverage bicep. Yeah. We could do like the left, and then I can release the left or something. Yeah. See this one.
So some smart usage here from Mint. This is a classic, a sports classic especially. Just use your timeouts, man. Make sure you use them rather than lose them. Never want to see somebody end a game or end a half with some timeouts in the pocket. Just means you're not doing something right. So I'm going to give him some time to think about it. You guys heard the boss himself, Nadian, talking about what he considered was going to happen for the future of this round, and it's really looking reactive. And honestly, I respect that because he was considering what could eventually happen, which he considered to be the top floor gym bedroom. But as he said, they could go basement as well. He didn't think they were going to go cash. He was right about that. It's going to be the basement. It's going to be the ladder. So Soniqs now, they're going to be bringing the mirror into the fold for themselves as well. They'll have the Warden too. So a lot of different flares, a lot of different flavors that we saw from DarkZero coming into the Soniqs arsenal. And you already saw the recognition. That entire op list changed from DarkZero. That's them recognizing that this is the basement setup. They're going to bring in that soft destruction, bring in the nades and the extra influence and utility to support that drone and info game in the likes of Yana. And this is it, folks. One round to rule them all. One to rule North America. Who's going to take it?
We find it out over the next 2 minutes and 45 seconds. As ZZ takes up their initial positions to begin clearing. Just the upstairs clear for right now, so don't expect anything crazy. Like Stokes had mentioned, the Soniqs are taking a page of the DZ book, so they're also going to play this one pretty much entirely into a bunkered position. All 5 players just by default going directly down into the basement, waiting out the time from there. DZ will have the whole map to play with. That certainly means as well they're going to use the full extent of this 2 minutes and 20 seconds that still sit on the clock to make sure they have every box checked off before moving into the site.
Well, this is the beauty of it. This is one of those rounds where you make the proper play, even an ill-advised one. Might look stupid, might look silly, but if you make the proper one, you end this entire match in one foul swoop. Takes somebody with some discipline, somebody with some aggression, a want to win, the drive. DarkZero looking for that drive, looking for their dream right now of beating the Soniqs, the team that selected them out of their group. Thought it was going to be so easy for them. Now it's down to a singular round. Very hard-fought game so far between these two. DarkZero begin breaking up the soft destruction around the map, and you can see every single alarm going off in DarkZero's head as they move around this map. Even worried about the cap can traps that could potentially, a ride around the map. Double Claymore here for Giveni as well, just trying to make sure that no pressure can come out from the Soniqs downstairs, and this execution's almost set up.
So, as the kitchen hatch is going to be popped open, that's really probably the beginning of the end for DarkZero's setup phase here to get themselves into the basement. They will continue to, for any and all options, pick up earlier kills if the Soniqs present anything, and they will. Gunnar gonna get decked by a nade thrown right into his face from behind the zombie barricade. The damage bleeds through, takes him down. Thankfully, it happens a little bit too early in this execute, so they can't immediately follow it up to get the confirmation. He will be brought back from the depths, obviously at much lower HP, but a win is a win here. That's how the Soniqs, who have now not been paying attention to DarkZero's setup, specifically coming from church side for the last 20 seconds or so, leaves the window open for them to potentially excel. And indeed, NJR will, with another oil pit push that's been working out so well for him throughout this map, works his way in. Citizen striking back though from the inside, and Grixer does the same. The cross against Blue may very well be what sends DarkZero down the river here, but they're not giving up just yet. Panba with another exchange set against him, and Impact does some slight damage to both Gaveni and Panba. They're getting tripped up, they're getting congested. This is the problem for DarkZero. They don't have enough space to make this work, it seems. Getting themselves out to Arsenal. They'll at least start the plant, but now we're at zero time. Panba, though, holding the line for the fight, coming in to shut him down. Gaveni with the big shutout. DarkZero win it out in the final round of overtime. And DZ save their upper bracket position, sending the Soniqs down into the lower bracket instead.
Who's the square team? You picked me!
I'll let those words sing for himself right there. You picked them, Soniqs, and DarkZero let it ring. They let it sing. Oh my, what a showing from DZ. That last man right there, Gaveni. This is his rookie year, folks. He just got here. He just got here. This is his first tournament. Absolutely amazing stuff from them.